Hey guys, it's Matt here, and today I'm doing another unboxing video, and today I'll be unboxing the Brawler 64 controller by Retro Fighters. And as we pick this thing up, you can see that this controller definitely looks a lot different than your average N64 controller, and we can actually see why on the back here as it reads, not only Brawler 64 Gamepad, but it also reads, introducing the Brawler 64 Gamepad by Retro Fighters, a completely redesigned N64 controller with next-generation features and attributes, providing a new and comfortable way to play your favorite classic N64 games. The next-gen styled controller has a completely updated look over the original N64 controller. The Retro Fighters Brawler 64 Gamepad showcases a two-handle design and features responsive buttons, D-pad, and a comfortable analog stick. The Retro Fighters Brawler 64 Gamepad offers a new way to play your classic N64 games, and it says all the stuff like featuring an ergonomic and comfortable two-handle design, ultra-fast turbo button, turbo button's actually really nice, larger C buttons, comfortable and responsive analog sticks, stylish matte buttons, responsive and high-quality D-pad, repositioned Z triggers that does matter on both the left and right-hand side of the controller, and ergonomic placement of the B and A buttons. Really like the phrase ergonomic. They both do, and you know what? I gotta say I like it as well. And looking at the bottom and the top, just says Retro Fighters on the top, nothing on the bottom. And let's try and open this thing up, which is kind of hard to do because there's tape on it, and I don't really want to ruin the box necessarily. So let's actually see what we can do off camera. All right, I got that fixed, got all the tape off, and now let's peel this back. In this case, I don't really mind if I, ruin the top a little bit, although it's odd because once I pulled the tab back, I realized I then had to pull it up from the top. So looking at this here, it says Retro Fighters. Definitely don't want to forget that name, of course. And there's styrofoam in there. It's been so long since something has been packed in. Not styrofoam. What am I thinking of? Tell me what I'm thinking of down below. This type of plastic specifically, this white plastic. I feel like there's a specific name for it instead of just saying plastic. Other than that, though, and seemingly this little, keep that, just sit right there, baby. Sit tight. There is this little leaflet, just to say, hey, this is about you. What is it? Retro Fighters is a new game. Oh, it was supposed to say about us. Ooh, well, I mean, I would like. Am I a Retro Fighter gaming controller? I could be. Oh, that's cute down there. Looks like JoJo. It literally looks like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, actually. I don't know who that's supposed to be, but I like it. It says, thank you. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for purchasing the Brawler 64 controller. Of course, general thanks. I don't know. I think there was a Kickstarter for this. I wonder if it was also thanking them as well. Turning this around, it said, the goods. Okay, cool. Even though it said what it was giving me in the back of the box, but I guess it's good to tell me, hey, by the way, this is how it works. Even though it's a controller, still, it's good to remind people, hey, by the way, this is how you plug that thing in. Customer service, social media, all that cool stuff. Nothing really crazy to read over here. And I really like the sprite work on this thing. I wonder if, again, people... special thanks. Yes, those are definitely for the people who backed this thing on Kickstarter. I did not. I bought this many, many, many moons after the fact. So now let's actually pick up the controller and see how it feels. Not meant to be a review in any way, but I do want to just feel a little bit. See, it's kind of light, actually. A lot lighter than I thought. The analog stick doesn't really feel too bad. The buttons kind of feel, I guess I'm going to say they're not as full as some older controllers, even some older third-party controllers, but that doesn't mean that you can't click them just fine. It just feels as if, again, it's very, very light. The directional pad I'm not the biggest fan of, but again, usually when you have a controller like this and you have the directional pad and the analog stick flipped, you're probably going to be using the analog stick more than you would be the directional pad. Now let's do a quick comparison to a third-party Pelican controller that I have. That, as you can tell, the analog stick did break off. Probably have to replace that in the near future. Might do a teach tutorials episode on it. Now, when clicking on these buttons, like I mentioned earlier, these buttons feel a lot more full and complete, and the controller definitely feels a lot heavier than these two. Again, not that you can't click them. And I admit, I even like the D-pad on the third party than I do this Retro Fighters third party. Again, it just feels like I'm actually clicking on something, where in this case, it also is a bit longer, as you can tell as well. So obviously, I prefer the analog on the one that isn't just a pin stabbing my finger. And also that button, the one on the right, is a bit hard to compare because it's stuck. So again, not saying that every third-party controller is good. Oh, one thing to mention as well, that can support the transfer pack. This can support memory cards, but no transfer pack. And quickly comparing it to my original N64 controller, again, the button smashes, it feels more full. Doing it on the original controller. But again, another thing that I should mention as well, at least when talking about this original controller, if you're getting this one, it's probably not just for fighting games, it's also because of the fact that you might not be able to get an original controller easily. So I personally think that it's not so bad. I do feel like the analog stick, it's a bit, I'm not saying that it's actually less precise during gameplay, haven't been able to test that out yet, but it feels like it could be due to the travel time with the Retro Fighters analog versus the original analog. Just compared to how large it is versus how small it is in the original one. Alright guys, so that about wraps up this unboxing video, and again, this was not meant to be a review in any way. We'll be doing one a little bit later down the line, so I just want to say thank you all so much for tuning in as always. Tell me if you've used this controller, what you think about it. Tell me if you want to see that review a little bit later on down the line. So tell me what you think about all of this stuff down below. Do you prefer the original one? Do you actually like this one? If you have had the chance to use it, if you have purchased it, tell me what you think about all of this stuff down below, and also thank you all so much for tuning in as always, and hopefully you tune in next time for something that will be most likely completely different. And please also remember to like and subscribe if you liked the video as well, and if you didn't like the video, you can still like and subscribe either way. Alright guys, so either way, tune in next time. Love you all, take care, and see ya.